I always looked forward to coming to 109.
That room made me wish I could draw.
I always wanted to be up there, and I never was.
If I ever needed to know the first 17 digits of pi, I knew where to look.
109 has to be taken seriously.
Smiling is overrated.
It was exhilarating. It was the best of times.
I thought I left a family behind, but we are everywhere.
The sun may rise in the east, but it sets in 109. In 2003, the powers that be of Longfellow granted Mr. Huang a land of his own to rule as he wished. Instead of creating a puppet state, however, the powers that be unknowingly created a nation that has made a name for itself. In its 7-year history, the Kingdom of 109 has designed its own flag, published its own newspaper, rescued the helpless zombies of Thailand, defeated Mr. Calamito twice, destroyed the One Donut, ignored PTB directives, and most importantly, built a loyal community of citizens whose influence now reaches well beyond the borders of 109. Forced to vacate 109 in 2011, the kingdom refuses to mourn or seek vengeance. Instead, says the king, we will keep our name, we will keep our honor, and we will continue the 109 way. Together, we will now journey through the history of this mysterious kingdom filled with prophecy and strange traditions. News footage, eyewitness accounts of the nostalgic words of 109 citizens and allies will paint a picture of a land, a culture, and a people who stand for traditional mathematics, defense of the helpless, mangoes, and large potatoes. Long ago, Longfellow was filled with princes and princesses, and when it was time for their higher education, they were sent away to see the world. Mr. Huang was one of those princes. After much time had passed, the powers that be, what we call those who oversee Longfellow, give Mr. Huang a land of his own, known as 109. He accepted, and in 2003, on the backs of 2 turtles, he and his entourage landed on the beaches of 109. Mr. Huang immediately crowned himself the first monarch of the Kingdom of 109, a nation dedicated to the preservation of traditional mathematics and knowledge. However, Mr. Huang was given a wild, barbaric land with almost no infrastructure, limited resources, and nomadic tribes. He gathered the tribes and convinced them to proceed together as a unified nation. Having found that 109 was blessed with an abundance of mangoes, he ordered that his citizens eat them, and as a result, the 109ers grew strong and wise, and over the years, the Kingdom of 109 invigorated with mango power, made advancements in many areas, including agriculture, architecture, transportation, and weapons. In 2005, the kingdom was in need of more structure. The High Council wrote a constitution, and Mr. Huang solicited ideas for the design of a national flag and a national motto. On February 24th, 2005, the periods gathered to vote on the motto finalists. By a comfortable margin, Mathematica ad nauseam won. A good number of 109ers were not happy with the choice and threatened to boycott. To prevent civil war, Mr. Huang looked at the numbers. He noticed that only one citizen, Grayson Lewis, who until that day had not been absent that year, was absent on voting day. Lewis' absence meant that there were exactly 109 citizens present for the vote. This had to be divine providence. And this was enough to convince the would-be rebels to remain loyal to the Union. Mr. Huang and the High Council sifted through the best entries and chose Luke Chang's design.
So it was during class, probably, that I drew this design on the back of my scratch paper. And the requirements were kind of odd, so I had to draw 2 dragons, a Gandalf staff, a lance that represented Longfellow, and somewhere in there had to be a mud too. And I don't really remember why I decided to make it vertical, probably to accommodate the Kingdom of 109 right there. But I figured that having the lance and the Gandalf crossed in the middle would look good. And then having the dragons intertwined in a ring around it would be sort of aesthetically pleasing as well.
Flagbearers are elected each quarter, for each period, and are most visible during fire drills, when 109 proudly leads Longfellow outside.
I'm gonna be honest, all I can remember is walking down a normal hallway with a ceiling and going out to that field and just standing there for a while. Flag.
No.
109.
It was more than that, though. It was. I mean, I remember at the time, Kennedy was slightly vertically challenged, so we all really had to work to see it. But when we did, it was worth it. It was worth the work that we had to put into it, to kind of get on our tiptoes, look over the head, because he was kind of struggling. But when we saw it, I mean, there was nothing like the pride that accompanied that flag.
It's not funny.
Every time we'd go out for a fire drill, we'd have our flag, and our class would always sing the fight song, the 109 fight song, and led by Ethan Gaba, of course. And it was just, I used to look forward to fire drills, to be honest.
It was a fire drill, so Flagbearer comes out, and I just start chanting, 109, 109, 109, 109, 109, 109. Of course, I was the only one talking. The Datemaster is also a vital position. First period always has the privilege of providing the Datemaster for all of 109, and none was more important than the very first Datemaster.
Every day, I asked Mr. Huang what the date was. I needed to know the date to write on my paper, and if I didn't know the date, then it was the end of the world. How could I write the date for the rest of the day if I didn't know the date first period? So every day, I would ask Mr. Huang for the date, and finally, he got so tired of me asking him that he just said to write it on the board. So every day, I would come in and I would write the date on the board, and thus began the position of Datemaster.
The kingdom was not always a bed of roses. While Mr. Huang has enjoyed relatively high popularity, he also has escaped 2 assassination attempts. In 2006, Mariam Khanna tried to trip Mr. Huang to death while he was walking by her desk. She, of course, denies this.
Well, allegedly, I was minding my own business, but I had this plan to kill the king. So I apparently stuck my foot out in the aisle of the kingdom, and he was walking along, and I tripped him, and he fell on his face, and apparently I tried to assassinate him. There were riots in the streets. People accused me of things that I didn't do. My friends turned on me. They said, "Oh, you tried to kill Mr. Huang," and I didn't do anything, you know. It was just kind of heartbreaking, you know.
Basically what happened was Mr. Huang was, I don't exactly recall what he was doing, but I was sitting right next to the alleged assassin, and as he walked right between us, she sprang from her desk with some type of sharp object. It might have been a rock or perhaps a machete. And as she lunged for Mr. Huang, and this is the part that nobody ever heard about because I like to remain low-key about this, but I sprang from my desk and moved Mr. Huang like a few inches to the side so that her attack just missed completely. Absolutely. The trick was me moving him. I'm a little strong. I'm just gonna come out and say I'm pretty strong, so. Oh, there was a lot of discontent in the kingdom, absolutely. In fact, I wasn't exactly too happy with the kingdom either. He was making us do homework. I did not want to do this homework. I didn't come to this class intending on doing homework, any kind of work whatsoever for that matter. Yeah, I mean, a few people were a little angry and I guess it just boiled over and she decided that she was going to try and kill him.
Then, in 2008, Timothy Sheridan launched a just-sharpened pencil at Mr. Huang during a lecture.
Well, Mr. Huang was teaching, and as I recall, it was particularly boring that day. So I was like, you know what, I am just fed up of this guy. I mean, I come into school every day excited to learn, and he just crushes it. He kills it, because I had him first period, and so the rest of the day was just depressing for me. So I took a pencil, and I loaded it with rubber band, and I was all set to aiming at Mr. Huang when someone sneezed, and it messed up my concentration, and the pencil rocket actually accidentally went off, and my plot was foiled. Mr. Huang continued teaching, and I thought I would get away, so I leapt over my desk, and I began running towards the door, but I was actually apprehended by some of my classmates.
I think Sheridan is perfectly innocent. Having served with him and knowing his character very well, I feel that he could not have possibly attempted this. And it was a frame-up by factions in cooperation with the former assassins, by factions within 109 who wanted to seize power from Mr. Huang and form a communist or socialist state with the help of the Russian security service. He was obviously promised freedom once the revolution took place, as well as a bribe if he failed to assassinate him. Also probably threatened with death by the Russian security service. They did poison a Russian spy in London only a few weeks before the incident took place. I think it's obvious this was a threat to Sheridan's life if he failed to confess.
In 2006, the Kingdom of 109 formed an alliance with the nation of Thailand, a democratic government led by Mr. Cheney. On a sunny spring day, Mr. Huang and a small contingent of 109ers traveled to Thailand to sign the historic treaty. This alliance proved instrumental, because on the horizon lay the evil duo of Mr. Calamito and Officer Morris, bored good-for-nothings, who decide to have some fun by brainwashing all of Mr. Cheney's citizens with a magic crystal ball and imprisoning Mr. Cheney in a closet.
Hey, what? Calamito! But as time dragged on, I kind of got more and more desperate. I was really, really hungry. I really didn't have much food. I kind of had to scrap my eat sticks some days, and really I just got kind of desperate at one point and kind of went a little crazy. I did have a fantastic beard at the end of it, but that was really the only positive.
Somehow, Mr. Cheney was able to snap one of his zombie citizens out of his trance and send him to 109 to get help.
Mr. Huang! Thank goodness you're here. I've waited so long.
Breathe the free air again, my friend.
You have no idea the joy that I felt. I could have done somersaults and flips, but I never.
Mr. Huang, abiding by the recently signed treaty, gathered the army of 109 and met Morris and Calamita on the Great Field.
Hey, Huang! Give us Cheney back, and we'll just leave you alone. Send him over now.
If you want Cheney, you'll have to go through 109.
It can be easier. It doesn't have to be like this.
It's too late. You'll be sorry you did this.
You really think you can take us on?
You're small potatoes to us.
Small potatoes. We'll show them potatoes.
I have to say, at the beginning of the fight, the outlook was kind of grim. The zombie army of Thailand was formidable, to say the least. But it was really the fiery speech prepared by our great leader, Mr. Huang, that really put us over the top and allowed us to defeat the zombie army of Thailand.
My fellow citizens, now is our time. We are mighty, but we are not here to conquer. We are powerful, but we are not here to kill. We are here to set people free. We are here to set Thailand free. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? 109, 109, 109, 109, 109, 109, 109.
It was a very inspirational speech. We lined up like a Trojan War kind of thing where we had our horse, Mr. Huang was on his horse.
I was holding the flag, and I just remember it was a really big inspiration, his speech, and everyone was just so ready to charge the zombies.
I was a zombie. I don't remember that much. Just running blindly into battle without very much control. I'm still alive, so thank you for saving me.
Yeah, I know.
I appreciate it greatly.
The time that they started charging us, it was like, what did we get ourselves into?
I told the army to focus on Morris and Calamito because the zombies were not our enemy. They were victims. We were there to save them.
He just said, you know, beat them, but don't kill them.
Well, that was a very moving moment in Longfellow history, I think, because just the energy going through that crowd, and the loyalty and the fervor to the nation of 109 was just very awing. I felt something deep stir within me.
Undetected by either side was a bystander, most likely a 109 citizen, who watched the entire battle. That person wrote a poem commemorating 109's victory, but left the manuscript at the scene. Not until 2010, 4 years later, did workers uncover the artifact. Mr. Huang, recognizing the haiku-length poem for its brilliance, decided to make it the backbone for 109's national anthem. Alluding to his pre-charge speech, the poem reads, "Not small potatoes, not small potatoes. We are not small potatoes." After the victory, Morris and Calamito were taken into custody by Longfellow. Mr. Cheney got his nation back, and all is well.
Well, personally, I can honestly say I've never felt that kind of pride in a group effort, in a national effort, because it wasn't just for us. It was for Thailand. It was for other people. We were helping other people, and nothing feels better than that. honestly, and the fact that like 109 could pull together and risk our lives and our national title.
I agree with you, and I think what you're saying is great, but if this is all true to you, why didn't you show up to the fight?
I felt that my part in the whole ordeal was more of a strategical, behind the scenes in the classroom kind of ordeal. I guess there was some fear involved, but those who had the courage to stand up and put forth all that effort to actually risking their lives against Calamito and Morris, I mean, I admire them more than any other thing.
Cheesy. Really cheesy.
No, it wasn't cheesy. It was inspirational. It was inspirational.
Liberating Thailand was a very good thing. Yes, Calamito did eventually escape and that was a failure. But people often forget that one of the greatest benefits of the victory was the rehabilitation of Officer Morris.
Officer Morris, I went through the entire rehabilitation process in terms of, I read all they did a huge pamphlet on him, on what they did, what steps they took. It was a brainwashing type thing. And I do think he's rehabilitated. I really do. I've even tried to trick him and ask him a few questions that I thought he would answer the other way when he was the other way. And he seems solid to me right now. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable about him.
Well, the rehabilitation program probably saved my life. It shed light on what I was doing, what Mr. Calamito was doing, and it painted a picture in my head that somewhere that, although it was nice to go to, it probably wasn't the right thing to do. So it was a struggle going through the process, but in the end, I'm glad I did. Well, 109 saved my life. I don't know where I would be without them right now. I could be dead. I could be wandering a hillside all alone in some foreign country. Who knows where I would be right now. So they saved my life.
With Morris and Calamito captured, Longfellow and 109 would have welcomed a respite from evildoers. But that was not to be. The mysterious Dr. Donut, actually Mr. Calamito in disguise, used mind control on Officer Morris and tapped into Shemansky and Mr. Gorge's lust for power to infiltrate Longfellow. His goal was finding the legendary, all-powerful One Donut, which was rumored to be hidden somewhere within Longfellow's walls.
I've got you now. Just wait. Let me explain. Come on, just cool down for a second. Come on, just cool down. I know that you, more than anyone else, could use this. You're the only one that can harness this power. You don't understand. But without me, you can't do anything at all. Think of all the great things we could do together. We'll do all the stuff you want to do first. Don't worry about me. It's all about you at first, okay? Think of all the great mathematicians that will come from you. Think of the genius. Think of what you could do for Longfellow. Come on, but only we can do it together. You have to understand, I can't get it down by myself. You can't get it down by yourself. We must band together. But you're evil. And you're good.
Even Mr. Huang, usually impervious to greed and power, fell to the temptation of the One Donut. Through Dr. Donut's enticements, he allowed Dr. Donut to take hold of it.
Yes. Okay, let's get it.
We were watching the news report and we were like screaming at the TV, "Don't do it, Mr. Huang, don't do it." But I guess he had already done it at that point.
I mean, everyone's human, as hard as it is to believe Mr. Huang is too, so I don't know, I feel like everyone's had a moment where they're not exactly totally proud of it.
Look at yourselves. Don't you see what he's doing to you? Stop thinking about just yourselves. Here, give it to me. What?
Fools! Fell into my trap once again! It is all mine now!
This is all my fault. I'm so sorry. But I can fix this. I'm gonna go find Calamito and bring him to justice. It might take me a year, but I'll get him. And then I'll come back. I'm gonna destroy the ring, and then we'll be rid of Calamito.
It was a dark time. Many of our fellow students felt betrayed. They felt depressed afterwards. They felt hopeless for the future of 109 and for the future of the realm of Longfellow.
We had a day of public mourning and everyone shaved their eyebrows and wore black.
But I do think it shows a great deal of courage and just monarchical ability that he went after Mr. Wong, or Dr. Calamito, that Mr. Wong went off after Dr. Calamito. He stole it.
He didn't have his priorities straight, that's what it was. Like, he should have known that he shouldn't just leave 109 because Calamito took a donut. Like, they have him at Safeway, or at Krispy Kreme. Like, no. Explain that to me, because it doesn't make any sense at all. Like, use common sense. What did it have? Like special sprinkles in it?
We were kind of sad that even though we were gonna leave to go to McLean, we were still sad that Mr. Huang wasn't going to teach anymore.
And then we couldn't come back
and for a donut. Who does that?
We couldn't visit him till 10th grade.
Yeah. So what if they steal a cake? Are you gonna take off like a decade of teaching? Because oh gosh. A dozen donuts. Are you gonna take off like, well, if it's a baker's dozen, then it'd be 13 years. So what? Come on, Mr. Wong. He needs to get his priorities straight.
Mr. Wong's self-imposed exile lasted 1 year. His search for the evil Dr. Donut took him from the mountains of the Pacific Northwest.
My scouts tell me he's hiding in that dome right there.
To the monasteries of Greece. To the timeless capital cities of Europe. With the one donut, Calamito left a path of destruction everywhere he went. But during the Great Blizzard of 2010, a storm which the scum Dr. Donut caused himself, Mr. Huang finally caught a break.
Alright, get everybody ready.
He and a small 109 commando unit tracked the Dr. Donut to a small forest in Northern Virginia, and the chase was on.
Now, where do I go? that stupid song again!
Going there was probably the best 109 experience I ever had because it really showed what 109 was all about, preserving, equality and knowledge and not letting evil escape. And I don't know, it was just singing the 109 fight song as we, approached him as he was, incapacitated. It was a wonderful experience.
My friends, I have returned after 1 year.
However, Dr. Donut's accomplice, Mr. Gorgia, ambushed Mr. Huang and stole the one donut for himself.
Well, of course I double-crossed Calamito. He would have ruled the world in such a bad way with that. He would have had all the power. I was just trying to get the donut away from Calamito. I was going to return it to its rightful owner, to Mr. Huang. So that's all. And then they wrote me into this and tried to put blame on me. Ask Calamito, ask Szymanski. I was just trying to be the good guy in all this. Like I said, I'm the victim here.
Mr. Huang caught up with the two men wrestling for the all-powerful object, when the power of the donut stunned them both. Mr. Huang seized it and threw it into the construction site, where the rehabilitated Officer Moores and Miss Szymanski buried it. Calamito left off the mountain after the donut and was lost forever.
Calamito is gone forever. And we will never be under tyranny again.
I'm kind of a man of evidence. I'd like to see something to believe it. So, without seeing a body or knowing that he's dead, I'll never believe that he's dead. He has obviously secret powers, so he could have transported himself before he hit the ground and saved his life. Who knows?
I don't know, no body was found, and it just seems very, very sketchy to me. So I feel like he's not coming back, but I feel like his influence is still lurking in the darkness.
Well, you always have to be on guard, because you never know who's he's recruited. And he fooled me, fooled Mr. Huang, Mr. Gorgia, and he's fooled a lot of people, so who else could be on his side? You never know when he's going to return, or who he's going to return as.
Is Calamito dead? Well, first of all, I sure hope so. Second of all, I wouldn't put it past him to have escaped. He's probably out there somewhere, him and Szymanski plotting to take advantage of the next young person like me, trying to pass the blame onto them. So if he's out there, probably. And they told me I needed some counseling, and I said, counseling, isn't that for people with problems? And they said, oh yeah, dude, you got problems. So I went ahead and did it. Mostly involved going on a forgiveness tour. I went around to local youth groups and VFWs. Mostly involved me sitting there while they lined up and verbally and physically abused me. I'm not sure what I got out of it, but this seemed to make them feel a lot better. I didn't suffer any negative side effects though, except for resentment and psychological maladjustment and a little blurred vision in this eye right here. It's still not right. But you take the bad with the good. I'm much better now. It's totally different. It's like night and day.
I would believe that Gorgia will prove his allegiance to us when he actually contributes something to our cause. Until then, I don't feel entirely safe with him.
I don't know. He did say hi to me in the halls and was all friendly about it when I came back, but I don't know. It was such a part of him for such a long time that I would sleep with one eye open around him.
Now that Calamito was finally defeated and gone forever, Mr. Huang could return to Longfellow and 109. However, the joy of his return was tempered by sad news. Due to Longfellow's renovation, 109 and many of its allies would have to relocate to the villas for 1 year. Even worse, after 1 year, 109 would not be allowed to return to the same room. Needless to say, the news hit the citizens hard.
I saw it on Facebook and was legitimately distressed and upset upon hearing that. You never think about the places in your life as constant until they might be taken away. And when it was going to be taken away, I thought back and realized that it was a big thing for it to move.
It doesn't seem real, because a lot happened in this room. I mean, for everybody, for everyone who's been in 109, but I know for me personally, I feel like I did a lot of growing here. You know, I learned a lot academically, but personally as well, and socially, and you know, coming back and seeing how it's changed and seeing how it hasn't changed, it doesn't really seem real.
I can't imagine all of it going away.
I was really shocked and I was disappointed because there was such this great kingdom that had been built up, and though the spirit would continue and it would press forward, there was this atmosphere that is almost lost in the process.
Well, I thought it was terrible. It was as if a whole civilization had been uprooted and had to move away from where its culture had been uprooted for so long. And it just broke my heart listening to those words and reading that email.
No, I was really sad about that because, you know, I'm not sure how long 109 has been located in this kingdom vicinity, but clearly all the artwork and all the history of this room, and you know, to have that destroyed, that kind of sucks. Am I allowed to say sucks?
Well, at first I was devastated, and there was talk about making a human chain in front of the wall so that it won't get destroyed. Now I'm okay with it, and although it's been really nice to be part of this legacy, I think the thought of it will live on within the hearts of the 109 citizens.
Felt the powers that be were completely out of line, and I just thought it would have been much easier to just like completely relocate the entire classroom and just like put it in the new building, or just build the entire new building around it, because it's that important. I actually remember when Mr. Williams came in to see the mangoes as I was finishing them on the tree, because I think I painted them before the leaves. No, I didn't. But they were my pride and joy, and he came in and looked at them and said, I could totally just take one off the tree and eat it right now.
My first reaction was shock, then anger, then sadness, then bargaining, then my tentative acceptance, and it's still a very sad thing to have to go through. I mean, it was my home for a full year. It's been the home to thousands, hundreds of thousands of citizens, and I just feel like without the essence of the nation will still be in place no matter where we relocate.
And then when I heard that they actually had to move from 109 and be in a different room as Longfellow was being renovated, I said, well, okay, I guess it's necessary, but it's still going to be a very a kind of bittersweet goodbye. Because it's necessary, because then we will get a better building and possibly even a better room. Not necessarily 109, but that gives us the opportunity to make even more paintings possibly, or make even more history of 109. So it adds variety to it, but still, the fact that we're going to lose all these paintings forever is kind of sad.
For lack of a better word, I was just really sad because that room had so many memories in it, and I had, you know, such a great time with my friends, and I mean the math class was really great, and I enjoyed learning, and the fact that that room would not exist anymore, that it would have to be relocated into some random trailer for a while or a different room, it was just a little difficult. You know, when you go down to the core of it, it's not the room, it's the memories and the people and just I guess the spirits of everyone who was in the classroom and who enjoyed all these memories. So I mean, it'll still always be the Kingdom of 109 to us fellow 109ers. So it doesn't really matter what number the room is. We're always going to be the Kingdom of 109.
And even if if Mr. Huang gets Kingdom 109 back, it's not going to be the same Kingdom 109. This is the original, and this is epic.
Well, I can see where demolishing that room itself is very difficult for some. I mean, it's been there as a kingdom. It has amazing powers, and the powers are going to transfer to the new place, to the new land with Mr. Huang. Mr. Huang is a very resilient person, and he really does have a lot of powers. He can transform another place into the same kind of important place that the Kingdom of 109 is. So I just would say that just really be resilient, really stick with Mr. Huang, because he's going to have a plan to put into action, and you will just see even many, many, many more wonderful, powerful things coming out of that kingdom. Because really it's about the people, it's about the kingdom, it's about the leadership, it's about who's in that room. And if you call it Kingdom 109, everybody knows what that means.
You gotta fight the tower.
But see, okay, initially I had this notion as well, and it's still devastating. But I feel that Kingdom 109. Oh my God! Okay,
I'm sorry.
Kingdom 109. It has, because of its growth through the last years, we have a spirit. And I say we, even though I'm not in this class anymore, because it's the alumni, it's the current, like, citizens, it's everybody. Everybody has this collective spirit that will carry on, I believe that.
On February 11th, 2011, the Kingdom of 109 came to see their homeland one last time. They came to see old friends. They came to pay respect. They came to remember. They even came to take a little piece of 109 with them.
I was thinking about me.
Best math class ever. Definitely like the best class I've ever had. I normally didn't like math, but I loved this class.
So email me.
Forever. It's always about the mango.
is the only math class that I've ever been in that is both independent as a kingdom and has changed my life forever.
Oh, and 109 is also the only math class I've seen someone tied to his chair by his own belt.
And let it go, and you wish you could give them everything, everything.
When I think of 109, I think of power, offense, so many memories I still remember. I'm almost a senior in high school. That's great.
Because it is the chance to be part of something bigger than yourself. We are not confined to four walls and a ceiling. 109 is you and me. We are 109. Even though we are moving, even though we will never come back here, and even though all of this will disappear, 109 will continue to exist because we exist. And it will continue to exist because we will it to be so. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to shed a tear. We are human beings after all. And we treasure tangible reminders of precious things and precious moments. Let us not depend on them, however. If we do, we will always have our hearts broken eventually. We have our memories and our relationships. One thing I've learned from interviewing so many citizens for the documentary is that sharing old memories is both powerful and delightful. Sharing the past is what families do anyway. So I ask you to not forget what happened here whenever you were here. I think you will find, if you haven't already, that at least something from 109 will contribute positively to your future. Just what those things are may surprise you. We will keep our name, however. We will keep our honor. We will continue the 109 way. The story will continue. To every citizen of 109 and all friends of 109, thank you, and I wish you the best of all things.
After addressing his citizens, Mr. Huang led 109 away from its home with heads held high.
The winter here is cold and bitter. It's chill us to the bone. We haven't seen the sun for weeks. Too long, too far from home. I'm sinking, and I claw for solid ground. I'm pulled down by the undertow. Never thought I could feel so low.
As we marched singing the songs of 109, I was reminded of who we are. A nation that stands up for math, the helpless, tradition, and each other. In that moment, for me, the day of mourning became a day of joy. The walls may be gone, but the most important things remain. Each and every 109 citizen.
this way. I said, haven't seen this place before, where everything we say and do hurts us all more. It's just that we stay too long in the same old sickly skin. Pulled out by the undertow. I never thought I could feel so low. And oh, darkness, I feel like letting go. Follow the strength and all of the courage. Come and lift me from this place. I know I can love you much better than this. For grace. I know I can love you much better than this. It's better this way.
I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes. Listen as the crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead, long live the king. One minute I held the key. Next the walls were closed on me, and I discovered that my castle stand upon pillars of salt and pillars of sand. I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, once you've gone it was never, never an honest word. And that was when I ruled the world. It was the wicked and wild wind, blew down the doors to let me in. Shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe what I'd become. And revolutionaries wait for my head on a silver plate, just a puppet on a lonely string. Oh, who would ever want to be king? I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman
for you. Is this going to be on YouTube?